I need your thoughts on The Bear, episode 3, Brigade, all day.
Heard. Spoilers ahead, chef.
Let it rip.
If you watch a show and don't immediately trade memes and giggles with your best Judy, did you really have a few viewing experience?
Of course not. When the credits roll, that's our signal to debrief.
I'm Jose Miguel.
And I'm Lesley.
And we've been friends since we were kids.
And we realize some shows are just too good not to gab about. This is Heated Reverence.
All right, the order's in. Let's get the IMDb description and the recap out to the table.
Carmy attends Al-Anon. Sydney struggles to gain the respect of the staff. All right, Jose, as a first-time viewer, what's your overall vibe after watching this episode?
So this may come to a little bit of a surprise, but there's finally some organization happening here that makes this chaos make sense. I kind of enjoyed this episode because for me, my brain always has to like have things compartmentalize, and watching it kind of unfold allowed me to be kind of part of the process. There's obviously things that I probably would have like wanted to do or do better or to change, but ultimately I was like, oh, look at this. They're figuring their shit out. Yay.
Do you know that Billie Eilish song where she's like, you should see me in a crown? And she goes like one by one, like she's going to make everyone submit to her. I feel like
Ooh,
that's what's happening
it's a
here.
power
Like,
grab.
but not in a negative way. It's like one by one, everyone in the, I mean, there are still some outliers. There's some people who are still resisting, but one by one, people are buying into this new way of doing things. You know, I think that bringing Sydney in helps. And Carmy, he goes and he does this gesture of like getting them all aprons to try to like help them look like a team, feel like a team, you know, and it's just like one by one, they are slowly starting to buy into it. They're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
And yeah, progress.
It's also a fascinating process to see that unfold. I can't tell you how many environments I've worked in, especially like places where you're in change management and people are so resistant to try to get to a place where like this is something we're doing as a team. It's not a one person effort and everyone is working together at the same time. It's got to be hard for even Sydney to be in that role, but also for him. So yeah, it definitely was like I can't, the Billie Eilish one. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to go like reheat that song because I definitely feel like that really is on point with it.
All right, let's get that recap out on the table.
Carmy tries to bring order to the kitchen by implementing a strict French Brigade system, but his sudden exit leaves Sydney to handle the crew's rebellion on her own.
Calmer.
Chef, I gotta run a quick errand. Could you hold down the fort? Thank you, Chef.
Just like that.
The staff actively undermines her authority until tensions peak.
When Sydney spills a massive container of veal stock, it leaves her feeling completely exacerbated, but Marcus quietly helps her clean up the mess. It is a small gesture that captures the unspoken apologies and shared experience that bonds this team.
Just keep going.
After returning from an Al-Anon meeting, Carmy finally acknowledges his poor leadership and his part in the day's failure.
Just straight up left.
Yeah.
And that's not really cool.
No,
you know? After
no, it's
dumping
not.
all this stuff on me.
I know.
All right, so what do you want to highlight?
So, as much as I enjoyed watching this episode because there was finally a call it system being implemented, it was also a hard episode to watch because Sid finally gets her wings.
I am the Sous.
Like hierarchy.
More just like a regular, chill archy. It's more about dividing labor.
And she still struggles to earn her team's respect, but also feels accepted as a leader. So it's kind of like all these emotions coming to fruition while also trying to be like, I'm still the new person. I'm not here to change you, but I'm here to make you work better. And she struggles to like communicate that effectively while also knowing that like she has to keep a strict and firm, like get people in line. So it just sucked. And then for her to like be like, I don't need your help.
Do you ask Carmy if he's sure?
I'm
No,
just saying, it's
you
just
don't.
heavy.
So you stick to your shit, okay? I'll stick to mine.
It's like Richie all over again too, right? Like, well, not Richie, but like she's giving Richie vibes, but Carmy behavior, right? Take the help because someone's offering it to you. Don't be stubborn just because you want to be stubborn because you're like frustrated with shit. The dude was just trying to help you. And you're obviously not the same height that he is, like for the most obvious reason. So yeah, it was good for the reasons that I felt it was good, but then also hard to watch just because it felt annoying. And I think the other thing that stood out to me was like the comment about paying dues.
You didn't take my onions, did you?
No. No, they did this to me last week. It's just part of paying your dues.
Nothing irritates me more than something for like creating an environment where there's a bully. I don't feel like there is a need for that. And it's not for nothing. Like, why? Why would you do that to somebody? The other thing that I feel like I'm struggling with, we're 3 episodes in. Where are the fucking people? We spent hours watching, well, not hours, but it seems like they've been there since like 4 in the morning till like noon when the damn shit opens. And I don't see no one coming in to buy a damn piece of fucking bread or a sandwich. It's just weird to see all of them working so hard and who's actually eating this food.
We have seen them pre-shift. We haven't seen them actively while the restaurant is open. Yeah, that's coming. Don't you worry.
I don't know if there's much cooking going on, to be honest, because you see shit on the stove, but like, where's the food?
They're prepping.
Quiero comida, tengo hambre.
All right. Well, my reaction to, or highlight for this episode is
What did you have in mind? Sorry.
Old school brigade. You run it.
Respectfully, no.
what did you expect to happen? He was either going to say no or he was going to be like, okay, we're going to run with this. And so she was promoted and her response was, no, I said I wanted to do more. I didn't say I wanted to run a Russian gymnastics program. Shout out Russia.
I mean, don't shut out Russia. What?
Shout out Russia. I love from Russia from Over.
I know. Yes,
Ilya.
yes. Ilya. Say Ilya.
Yeah. Shout out Ilya. But yeah, so, I mean, to me, it was just like, oh, shit. Like, obviously, being middle management, comes with its own hardship. So, like, I can understand her reluctance to wanting to be in charge of this motley crew. But it's like, girl, you gave a compelling case for why you should have more responsibility, et cetera, et cetera. So...
Yes, and why did you bring the binder if you didn't want the assignment? Bitch, you asked for it. You asked for it. I felt like, to your point, I'm like, this girl wants to run the shit. Like, you showed up because you had, I have some ideas. Okay, well, give me the post and let's talk about it. No, you bought a binder with freaking tabs in it. And you told, like, here's where we're losing money because we're wasting money on this. Like, if you didn't want the job, you should have never brought your damn ideas with you.
And the fact that, like, Tina has been so, like, suspicious of her, and she was like, beware of bitches with little notebooks or something like that. She said in the other episode, like, the fact that it comes to fruition in this episode, like, yeah, now Sydney is in charge of your ass. Like, buckle up.
What's funny is that, like, I want to love Tina, but I also have a hard time because she's like on Richie's ass. Like, she's like, that's her best friend. Like, that meme or like that person's like, best friend, that's Tina. And like, she's on him. Like, he could do no wrong. I hope that she comes around because I really want to see a different side to her. Like, I really want to love her because there's a Spanish person here. And I feel like, oh, there's a Latina here. She's going to really, kill this shit. So I'm like, girl, please don't give the Black person a hard time because they're just there to do their job. I feel like she's giving a hard time because she's like, well, who do you think you are? And you're smaller and you're like all the things that really come out as like being in that role.
Like, Tina has short man's complex.
Yeah.
Like, she's very threatened. She's very threatened by Sydney. The corner moment.
So the corner moment, I think for me, my corner moment was... I think it's just really obvious. Richie for being Richie.
This was developed by Scoffier, and I think...
Oh, Scoffier? Love that dude. What's up? I don't know what's going on.
Because things have been a certain way, he's so resistant and reluctant to change. And he feels that like what Michael did before is the way that it should always be when Michael is not there anymore. And his persona is more than just like the aggregator, like the instigator. But he's also like this person that's like wants to say that it's my saying, he has the final say, and that's the way it needs to be.
I don't know why that took you by surprise though, because
It didn't. It's
he's
not that
been
it took
this
me by
way.
surprise. It's so annoying because you
The
want to
depth
get
of it.
yeah, like it just like the energy. It just shifts the whole vibe for me. I think that's probably why I'm like I don't know how I'm going to deal with this show if this dude keeps coming at everybody the way that he does. It makes it hard for me to be tuning in when this energy is what's being served. You know what I'm saying?
To your point, like when they were in that back room and Sydney, i- Carmy and Sydney are talking to the rest of the team. When he walks in, it's a whole vibe shift. He just comes in late and obnoxious, and it's just like, dude, really? Like, do you have to be on one like first thing? Yeah, my corner moment was uh finding out at the very end of the episode that it was Michael's birthday. And we find out because Natalie leaves a voicemail for Carmy, basically checking in on him. It completely explains why that phone call.
Hey, this is Debrief. Sorry about that. How can I help you?
He was so triggering for Carmy when he heard.
Michael around?
No. He's not here this second. Can I ask who's calling?
Yeah, just tell him Nico called. He's got my info.
For a second there, it felt like he was alive.
No, I just felt like Michael was alive for a second.
The fact that he needed to get out of that space in that moment.
I want to set this place on fucking fire. It's a fucking nightmare. Fire, it's a fucking nightmare. Fire, it's a fucking nightmare.
It made sense why he had to bolt to his Al-Anon meeting. Natalie has been trying to encourage him to go to that, what she refers to as the thing. The thing is Al-Anon. And the fact that, like, props to him for going, but also it made sense as like why he was having such a hard time on that particular day. It was because it's Michael's first birthday since he passed away. I always tell people, like, when that first year, there are going to be days that are sentimental to you that are going to trigger you. You're better off taking that day off. But because Carmy is the boss, he didn't have that luxury. The fact that Sydney came in and he could, delegate stuff and trust her with that kind of level of, oversight allowed him to step away. And it surprised me finding out, like, oh, the reason for all of this was because it was Michael's birthday. And nobody said anything. Richie knew because, hello, they were best friends, but it was just like an unspoken thing. And that's something that you're going to see a lot of, is that there are things that are unspoken amongst this crew. And sometimes it's for the better and sometimes it's for the worse.
I think it's very obvious that that's the case. You could tell already just by watching the dynamics that there's so many things that are left unsaid that could just help improve the relationships, but also just communication. There's a huge lack of efforts on communication. And it's almost like you're almost like making yourself have to apologize later for your lack of communicating to what needs to be help. Like, I think they all need fucking help. That's why I'm like, where's the therapist, right? Like, to that point of from episode 1, but like, I think it just needs to be consistent. And if you're supposed to be like family, right? Like family, you eat family or whatever, like, why not do that for each other, even though it could be hard? And Sid's trying to be that. Like, she figured it out, you know?
On that note, who is your walk-in nominee for this episode?
I hate to even say this. I'm going to leave Sid in there for a little bit, for like half a day.
It's not a punishment. Why do you hate to say it? She needs it. You're saying everybody needs an in-house therapist. That is her mental health break in that walk-in.
But you know what? I felt for her because I know what Carmy did, what he did. And I actually only realized them more so when you called it out, the fact that it was because of Michael's birthday. I didn't click at that when I watched it, but also like you don't tell the newest person on the team that you're now in charge and you have to create this environment and then just dip out and say deuces, I'll be back later. It was hard, and I felt bad for her, like, she needs it because it wasn't her fault that she got to that place. Yes, you could manage your emotions better, but you don't know what the fuck you're dealing with. Like, you already have been here for, what, maybe a week or 2 weeks at this point, and now you're running the joint, and then he just leaves when he tells you he's doing it? Fucking sucks. So I feel bad for doing it for her, but, like, let's take a lesson on how to manage our emotions a little bit more.
I agree. I agree. She walked in with a chip on her shoulder because at the very beginning, before they even started busting her balls, she had that moment where she was trying to get that thing on the top shelf outside of the walk-in, right in front of Carmy. Marcus was like, "You need help with that," and she was like, "No."
Resistant,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Let me get that for you, chef.
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
You sure?
Yes, thanks.
I understand why you're nominating her for the walk-in. For me though, I gotta say, my boy Ibra.
Carmy, no. I was in a brigade once.
What happened?
Many people died.
Why?
Because
Ibra? Like, who?
I feel like Ibra's been in this. I feel like in this episode in particular, he's been going through it. Like we hear him say while Carmy introduces the concept of the brigade, he says, "I've been in a brigade once." And they said, "And what happened?" And he says, "Many people died." People just left that there. Like, okay, just trauma,
He's like a
trauma
southern
dump on us.
assassin.
No, he was probably in the military in his home country is probably what I got from it. And then, later on in the episode, but once because he went on a journey. Eventually he bought into the brigade system. He says, "Yes, I like it." After he got his
Ibra?
Meat prep.
Yes, which means you are now the chef de partie.
Chef de partie.
Yes.
I accept.
So like he bought into the new way of doing things right away, only to prepare his thing. And when Sydney goes to check up on it, she didn't like it. And he shouts to her back out at her, "You betrayed me," because he thought they were allies at this moment. Like poor Ebraheim, like he's going through it this episode. Let him get some time in the walk-in.
What's your most relatable moment?
Sydney, when she is like first taking up the role and she's talking to the team, and
I am the Sous.
Like hierarchy.
More just like a regular chill archy. It's more about dividing labors.
basically saying like, I'm gonna have to do things that I don't want to do, but I'm going to do them because guess what? I'm the Sous. Like basically letting them know like this is how things are gonna roll. I have responsibility. I don't necessarily have final say authority. Get used to it. I'm the Sous. Like and I just like, I totally relate to that. There were so many different times where it was like, I had to implement branding standards that we had. And like our graphic designers created something amazing, but like you're in violation of the brand guide. And so like, I got to reel you in. Sorry. Yes. What you created was awesome. And I personally like it best, but I'm the Sous.
Oh my gosh. That whole scene to me was like the best scene of the whole episode because watching her kind of like bring down to like context of bare minimum for them to understand like what it meant for what she was doing and how she was going to do it. It was like, it's a chillarchy. Like that whole thing, the way she just did her movement, it was just like trying to, I was like, oh my God, this is fucking insane. Like, could you not be more awkward because you feel uncomfortable having to like explain yourself to people? They're like, oh, how do they not understand this? Because you've worked at restaurants, you know? For me, the most relatable moment was like the conversation Sydney and Carmen had when she tells him, "Did you hear me when the brigade was a bad idea?" It's like the lessons that you are always asking for, but like all she wanted to do was be heard in the conversation, and him not hearing her as like supposed to be partners or collaborators, like really was a hard thing. I can't tell you how many times I'm in conversations with people and I'm like, no, let's really talk about this before we do this. And it just becomes a failure. And I'm never one to like be like, I told you so. I hate being that person. That's not what I like to like emote. But I think it's something you see over and over again when people just don't want to listen to each other.
To your point on that, I love that at the very end of it, while they're talking it out behind the restaurant, she's really vulnerable and she explains like, I will listen to your directives. I'm not going to be insubordinate. I get what you're trying to do here. But if we're going to try to make this a better place, like we need to hear each other.
This place could be so different from all the other places we've been at. But in order for that to be true, we need to run things different.
That inclined Carmy to be vulnerable with her. And in that very moment, she went like, all right, I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to bust your balls because that's what we do here is we bust each other's balls. That's how we show affection here. And she signaled like, listen, I can give just as good as I get. And so she just said like, wait, that's way too intimate right here. And like he really
TMI.
Carmy really thought that he fucked up in that moment. Like his whole demeanor dropped, and when she says like I'm just busting your balls, he was like, yeah, like you're gonna fit in just fine. Like you are the right person for this. What is your Michelin standard?
So another surprising one. We're kind of leveling up here. I gave it a 2.
Really?
There was emotional depth and character development, and you get into their personalities, you get into who they are. But I think because this show has so many people and it's in like really one space that you constantly just see them, it's hard to be drawn into that. Like in TV shows, like it's one segment here, and they're different environments. This is just in a restaurant, in a kitchen. It doesn't move from there except very, very small times, and those scenes are very far from few. So like, the fact that we got to see a little bit more of who they were in their element, but actually get to know them when they're challenged by things, to me gave me a little bit more like, okay, this was good. This was good.
For me, I gave it 1 star.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not that it wasn't worth the detour. It's just like, since I've seen this whole thing already where the journey goes, it's not my favorite episode. It's not something that I go to revisit right away. Like, so it's worth a stop in terms of the story development and where we're heading. There's so much better coming. So it hasn't earned its 2-star for me yet.
Okay. Well, I think as a first-time watcher, you should consider yourself lucky because there's some parts of this show that I'm just still like on the fence about.
Yeah, I'm surprised, and I'm delighted that you gave it a 2. All right, that is our service.
Heard. We'll be back next time to discuss episode 4, Dogs.
Heated Reverence is hosted by Jose Miguel Longo and Lesley Obando.
If you enjoyed obsessing with us, hit the like button, and more importantly, follow the show or subscribe so you're invited to every hang session.
Tell us your own heat and heart score or the exact second a scene ruined your brain on Instagram and TikTok at Heated Reverence. You can also catch the full video version of the show on our YouTube channel.
And for long-form thoughts that need more than a caption, hit us at heatedreverence@gmail.com. We'll see you next week.